Hey, it's me. Welcome back. Today, I'm sorry, I'm starving to death. Today, we are talking about Medsurg. And I'm not going to separate Medsurg I and Medsurg II because they're pretty much the same, just different disease processes, and that's pretty much it. It's just different body, like different body systems. So I'm not gonna make two videos for Medsurg I and Medsurg II because that would just be too long. So anyways, everyone's biggest fear, I feel like, is Medsurg II. You hear the horror stories of Medsurg and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna make it. It's gonna be the hardest class ever, blah, blah, blah. Facts are, it is an extremely, extremely difficult class. Medsurg I is not as difficult as Medsurg II, but they are both very challenging. And let me tell you why. Because that is the whole base of your nursing profession, your nursing career, your nursing knowledge. Med-Surg is the base. Okay, you're gonna be like, oh, well, what about fundamentals? No. Let me tell you something. Fundamentals, you learn a lot of shit, but you learn shit that I feel like is like CNA shit. And I don't mean that disrespectful at all. I mean that like you learn basic care and fundamentals. You're not learning too much about like disease processes. You're not learning how to prioritize care. You're not learning critical situations. You're not learning about medications. Fundamentals is, I feel like it's like an introduction. It's like basic bedside care. I feel like it's very nurse assistant tech type care. Very basic, minimal, not critical thinking yet. And I know people are gonna be like, oh my god, that's so rude. I don't mean it rude, it's just true. That's just what it is. And then when you get into Medsurg I, they start to kick that up a little bit. They're wanting you to start using your critical thinking a little bit. They're wanting you to start using the nursing processes, stuff like that. They're starting to want you to use more. By the time you get to Medsurg II, they're expecting a lot from you. They're expecting you to be able to recognize certain things. They're expecting you to be able to prioritize patients and know what you need to do, when you need to do it. So I just feel like Medsurg II is like kicking up the level of critical thinking, what is expected from you, and your ability to be able to handle, I guess, critical emergent situations and know how to work your way through them. Hold on, I hear my dogs barking. Sorry about that. My dogs were tripping in my yard and I had to bring them inside. Okay, so Medsurg. The best advice I can give for Medsurg is to seriously take it serious and study. Read. You need to read. Medsurg, you need to read your stuff. You need to be doing your key points, practice questions. I used YouTube, Kathy Parks, her flashcards, her videos. I used ATI, all of their resources. My textbook came with a study guidebook. I used that. I used all the online resources that came with my textbook. As I said in a previous video, all of my books come from Elsevier and Evolve. So I used all of those resources. I was really big on that. And all of my professors in only Medsurg II, she offered test reviews, and I feel like that was really helpful. Also in Medsurg II in lab, she would do like she would do labs that were like practice question labs and like how to take tests and things like that. So I feel like Professor Sagan, she really helps you get to where you need to be. I feel like she was a really great professor. I learned so much in Medsurg II. But Medsurg is pretty much just like you're learning disease processes and how you're going to take care of them and what your role is as the nurse, what procedures, things like that. You're going to use, it's organized through body systems. So like you'll learn like about respiratory and then GI function and then So yeah, so you'll go through body systems and you'll learn about disease processes and how they're treated, what kind of medications they're gonna go with, what kind of procedures, how you're gonna take care of this patient, what your role is in patient care, and things like that. But I feel like the biggest thing in Med-Surg is like the disease process and learning your role in that disease process. Med-Surg, I feel like A and P is where they kind of come together. I feel like A&P didn't really apply until I got to Med-Surg, and I loved A&P and I was really good at it, and I really loved Med-Surg. A lot of people didn't like Med-Surg. I personally loved it. I found it very interesting. I did pretty well in both Med-Surg classes, and I really liked it. It was very interesting. I feel like I like disease processes and how the body works and things like that. I find it super interesting. So yeah, but Med-Surg, it was I don't know, like everybody says it's so difficult, and it is difficult, but I feel like it's difficult because it's a lot of information and you have to study it. It's not, I don't know, I feel like the most difficult part about nursing is the way that the questions are worded. None of the stuff is actually difficult. Like, if you took your science classes and you did okay in your science classes and you understood it and you pretty well understand body function and stuff like that, I feel like these classes are not hard. It's the wording, it's the NCLEX style, the critical thinking, the what's it called, standardized testing, that level of thinking that they want you to do. That is, I feel like, what's super difficult. So I feel like the only way to really get better at that is to do practice questions, and then to go through and read and figure out why that practice question, why the answer was right, why the answer was wrong. One thing that we did do in CN2 was that, we had to answer practice questions and then go through the book and find rationales for them and submit that. And I feel like that was a pain in the fucking ass and I hated it, but it was so helpful because I was really learning why the answer was the answer, and it was making me go through the book and figure it out and find out where the information was and things like that. So I feel like it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was pretty, I was miserable, like crying, not sleeping. I lost a bunch of weight. I mean, like now on the other side of it, I can be like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But when I was going through it, I was miserable. So I don't know. I feel like the best thing you can do is use your textbook resources and, you know, flashcards like Kathy Parks. I mean, I know a lot of her stuff is... Yeah, so I feel like the best thing you can do for Med-Surg is to just like seriously read and do practice questions and repetition. Like, I feel like that's the best thing that you can do for yourself. Bro, stop. My dog's out here freaking. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyways, so I feel like the best thing you can do for Med-Surg is just like cram that shit into your head. Study, practice questions, read. I know I was reading out of like 4 books when I was in Med-Surg too. She was using our fundamentals book, our farm book, our Med-Surg book, and then all the ATI books for those books. It was craziness. And then she also had lecture notes and PowerPoints, and I mean, it's a lot of material to get through. Like, it's a ton of stuff. I can't say that it's not. I feel like the best thing you can do for yourself is to just do practice questions and figure out what it is that they actually want you to know and go off of that. Like, you can read all of it, but you're never going to learn all of that. You're never going to retain all of that. You have to use your textbook as a resource. Like kind of how we go on Google and we type in Google like, oh, what is this? Well, you can't type it in, you got to search for it, but you got to go into your textbook and you got to find the information that you're looking for. Why is this the answer to this question? So I feel like textbooks, these chapters, they're not meant to read the full chapter. What's meant is for you to use it as a resource to figure out the information that you need to know and why things are the way that they are. And I feel like that might be one of the most difficult things to learn how to do, is to learn how to teach yourself. I remember when I was in microbiology And I said something to my professor, and he was like, yeah, but what all of you don't understand is we're not teaching you guys. We're teaching you guys how to teach yourselves. And I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Was like what I thought to myself when he said that to me. But now, when I'm about to graduate, I have 1 semester left. So after this, I have 4 months, and then I graduate. I've been in school for almost, by the time I graduate, it'll be 3.5 years. So I've been in school for 3 years at this point. So I can say that, you know, I can see where he was coming from when he said that. A lot of it is learning how to actually learning how to use these resources and get what you need out of this stuff. I can say that from all of these classes, and especially Medsurg, that my ability to think through problems and situations has gotten significantly better. You know, I used to always have to call my husband every time I needed help with something or something like that, and I've really been able to work through things on my own ever since journeying into this world of nursing. And I really attribute that to all of the testing and the thinking and the critical thinking skills that you get from these classes. It doesn't just help you in nursing, it helps you in your life. It helps you in everything. Nursing in general just makes you a better, smarter, happier, more wholesome, more appreciative. I don't know, nursing has changed me so much. It really has. I just feel like a completely different person than when I started. It really makes me emotional to think about that, you know, I'm coming to the end. It's almost over, you know. It's kind of bittersweet. I'm excited to take my NCLEX and start my journey as a nurse and be on my own, but I'm also terrified and sad that it's over, because, you know, you want it to be over and you want to start, and it happens fast. It goes by fast. I can't even believe that I only have 1 semester left and I'm done. I'm done with my associate's degree, and I'm done with this chapter, and it's time to move on to the next one. And like I said, it's bittersweet and scary as hell. Being a nurse is the most terrifying thing that you could ever do. I feel like there's not much more terrifying than being responsible for somebody's life, being that person that people look to when they're sick or hurt or need help, advocating for people, you know, collaborating care with other providers, and your role as a nurse it's so big, and it means so much. And then if you get to the end of your program and you don't feel like this, you're not terrified, I don't even know if you should be a nurse, because it's not easy and it's not glamorous. It's hard and it's emotionally fucking draining. But it's also beautiful and the best thing that you'll ever do in your life. My patients that I have cared for have changed me so much. My professors, my classmates, this whole thing has made me who I am today. And I love who I am. And I can't wait to graduate and become a nurse. It's crazy. But it's almost over, you know. Medsurg, those 2 classes, those were big classes. Finishing those classes it was a big deal, you know. And here I go into my last semester to take my leadership course and my course on mamas and babies. And I'm nervous, but I'm so excited. Just know that when you go into nursing school that you're not in control of your life anymore, and that you are holding on for the ride, and you are gonna ride along if you want to make it through. You don't get to pick what you do or what classes you take or what your schedule is. You are owned by your nursing program, by your syllabus, by your professors. This is your journey that you're walking. This is the one you choose. It's so hard, but you will never find anything more fulfilling. And that's how I feel personally. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.